Hello, my name is Cassandra Wallace. I'm the Community Preparedness Program Manager for the City of Dallas Office of Emergency Management. I'm going to be talking to you today about the Know What to Do Regional Disaster Preparedness Campaign and how to take care of yourselves and your family in the event of severe weather in the Dallas area. The Know What to Do campaign was developed through collaboration of the North Central Texas regional governments and emergency management agencies. The campaign reaches out to millions of people in our 16 county region area. There are many tools included in this campaign, including the website at www.knowwhattodo.com, bilingual educational DVDs, preparedness guides full of fast facts and tips, and many other items that you'll be able to find on the website. Users find this instant information on disaster preparedness very helpful. There are steps that people can take to safeguard themselves and their families. Think, prepare, and act is the Know What to Do campaign. Every day we face potential hazards, both natural and man-made. It's time to educate ourselves on these possible hazards. This section of our presentation covers basic information on severe weather, hazardous materials, epidemics, pandemics, terrorism, and carbon monoxide poisoning. We will also discuss many facts and tidbits about these hazards, and you probably didn't even know some of them. If your idea of prepping for severe weather is stashing an umbrella in the trunk, well, pay close attention to the following information. Those who have experienced a tornado or a flash flood firsthand will tell you just how serious and devastating severe weather in the North Central Texas area can be. The good news is that most weather can be predicted. The bad news is that the many weather-related deaths still occur each year in North Central Texas despite advance warning. The first step to being prepared is realizing that severe weather can happen at any time, and it can happen to you. Both warnings and watches are issued for tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, and flash floods. These are two important ways you can anticipate a potential emergency. Watches and warnings are broadcast over the radio and on television. TV broadcast. Local media is often a source of sounding alarms and complimentary information, whether through the emergency broadcast system, local television, radio, or other alerts. It's important to always be able to tune in to a battery-operated radio, television, or weather radio when the power is out and conditions are changing rapidly. NOAA All Hazards Weather Radio. NOAA stands for National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or weather radios are an easy and affordable way to stay informed. Every home and business is strongly encouraged to use weather radios as a primary means of warning. They are available from a variety of retailers and typically cost between $30 and $80. These receivers sit silently until the National Weather Service issues a warning, at which time they give out a loud alarm sound followed by the specific warning message. In addition, weather radios can easily be configured to warn the hearing and visually impaired. Outdoor warning sirens. These are often designed to warn those who are outside or who are in close proximity to a siren and can signal anything from severe weather to evacuation orders. As a supplemental warning system, it may not always be audible inside homes, buildings with a high ambient noise level, such as offices or factories, or when you're sleeping. Anyone within earshot of a signal should go indoors and tune into the local media for further instruction. The reverse emergency telephone notification system. Telephone alerts and warnings don't just come from mom anymore. Some cities now use reverse 911 or phone trees to reach special needs populations or even entire communities, depending on the emergency. Highway messaging. Technology has introduced dynamic and detailed warning systems in the form of digital highway signs. These signs broadcast timely information on amber alerts, highway closures, and other information critical to your safety. The City of Dallas has outdoor warning siren guidelines that were recently announced to standardize criteria during severe weather season. Please familiarize yourself with programs that may be unique to your particular community if you're outside the City of Dallas. Some activation examples for the outdoor warning sirens would be tornado warnings or any emergency that poses an immediate threat to life, such as large hazardous materials releases, confirmed sightings of a tornado, or severe thunderstorm warnings with winds in excess of 70 miles per hour and or hail that is 1.5 inches or larger. Thunderstorms can be exciting to watch, especially from the safety of your warm, comfy couch. Besides staying dry, here's another good reason to stay inside and off the phone. Lightning kills more people each year than tornadoes. Since every thunderstorm produces lightning, you need to be prepared. Flash floods and hail are also dangers associated with thunderstorms. If you can hear thunder, you're close enough to be struck by lightning. Find safe shelter immediately. Move to a sturdy building and stay away from the windows. Don't take shelter in a shed, under isolated trees, or in a convertible vehicle. If a sturdy shelter is not available, get inside a hardtop vehicle and keep the windows up. Get out of boats and away from water. Unplug appliances and avoid using the telephone except in an emergency. Did you know that more people die from flooding than any other severe weather-related hazard? Why? Because most people fail to realize the power of water. For example, it only takes 6 inches of fast-moving floodwater to knock over an adult and 2 feet to carry away most vehicles, including pickups and SUVs. The moment a flash flood warning is issued for your area, follow this simple advice. Turn around, don't drown. This is one emergency that can truly happen in a flash. What's the difference between a flash flood and a normal flood? Flash flooding occurs during heavy rain events and happens very quickly. It ends quickly as well. Regular flooding occurs as the result of a more prolonged rain event, lake overflow, or dam failure. It's more gradual, more predictable, and it lasts longer. Did you know that most homeowners insurance policies do not cover flood damage? Check with your insurance agent today to be sure that you are covered. For additional information regarding flood insurance, please visit www.floodsmart.gov. Hail are hard, frozen nuggets formed when raindrops pass through a belt of cold air on the way to the earth. The cold air causes the raindrops to freeze into small blocks of ice. Hail most commonly causes damage to property and vehicles. Remember all of those hail sales at your local dealerships? And crops. More than $1 billion in damage each year affects our crops. In fact, the costliest thunderstorm event in U.S. history struck Fort Worth in 1995. But considering the fact that large stones can fall at speeds faster than 100 miles per hour, it's important that you protect yourself and learn what to do when hailstorm conditions are present. On May 5th, 1995, an isolated severe thunderstorm developed ahead of an already intense squall line in Fort Worth and injured over 100 people. Cars were pummeled with grapefruit-sized hail, vegetation was totally stripped from the trees and shrubs, and rain poured down at a rate as much as 3 inches in 30 minutes, causing massive flash flooding. The storm cost billions of dollars, a figure once reserved only for major hurricane damage, making this thunderstorm event by far the costliest in U.S. history. The largest hailstone ever documented weighs over 1.6 pounds and it spans 5.6 inches in diameter. So Florida has hurricanes, Colorado has blizzards, and California has mudslides. So what's the resident disaster in Texas? Tornadoes, of course. These deadly twisters can occur at any time of year, but spring and summer are considered the tornado season around here. And while tornadoes can happen at any time of day, they're most likely to occur between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. in the evening. So when your afternoon talk show or evening sitcom is interrupted for a tornado watch or warning, pay attention and don't go outside. When a tornado watch or warning has been issued, look out for dark, often greenish colored skies. Look for wall clouds or supercells, large hail, loud roaring sound similar to a freight train. Some tornadoes appear as a visible funnel extending only partially into the ground. Look for signs of debris below the visible funnel. Tornadoes can be obscured by rain or nearby low-hanging clouds. Seek shelter. Move to a pre-designated shelter such as a basement. Stay away from windows. Don't try to outrun tornadoes in your car. Leave your car immediately and seek shelter in a sturdy building. If no shelter is available, get out of your vehicle and find the most low-lying area, such as a ditch or ravine. Advance warning is not always possible. Remain alert for signs of an approaching tornado and watch for flying debris. Mobile homes should always be abandoned. Lower-level interior bathrooms provide the best protection if no basement is available. The plumbing provides additional sturdiness to the walls. Occasionally, tornadoes develop so rapidly that advance warning is not possible. Remain alert for signs of an approaching tornado and watch for flying debris. Prepare is the second component of the Know What to Do campaign. When disaster strikes, city services may be cut off and local disaster relief and government responders may not be able to reach you. You need to have plans and supplies in place to make it on your own for at least a limited time, no matter where you are or when an emergency happens. This valuable section of our presentation will help you prepare for disaster by teaching you ways to create personal safety plans and tips on establishing a communication plan. We'll tell you how to create an emergency supply kit for your home and for your vehicle. And we'll give you tips for preparing your loved ones with special needs. And speaking of loved ones, there's also a helpful section that gives you ideas and tips for your pets and livestock. It's time to prepare. Families can and do cope with disaster by preparing in advance and working together as a team. Knowing what to do is your best protection, and it's your responsibility. Meet with your family and discuss why you need to prepare for a disaster. Discuss the types of disasters that are most likely to happen and their dangers to children. Explain to each and what to do in each case. You'll want to pick 2 places to meet, right outside your home in case of a sudden emergency, like a fire, or outside your neighborhood in case you can't return to your home. Everyone must know the address and exchange phone numbers. You'll want to discuss what to do when evacuating or sheltering in place, which we'll talk a little bit more later in the presentation. You'll want to post emergency telephone numbers by the phone, such as fire, police, ambulance, and teach your children how to call 911. Remember how long it took you to pack for your last vacation? That's why everyone should have an emergency supply kit ready to go. Pack supplies in a duffel bag, suitcase, or storage container, and keep it in a place that's easily accessible to everyone. You'll want to make sure that you have at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for up to 3 days, for drinking and for sanitation. As far as food goes, you'll want to make sure you have at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food. Battery-powered or hand-crank radios and a NOAA weather radio that we talked about earlier are also great to have in your emergency supply kit. Flashlight and batteries are a must. Make sure that you're checking your batteries on a semi-annual basis to make sure that they still work. A first aid kit is also a great thing to have in your emergency supply kit. Some other recommended items for your emergency supply kit: a whistle so that you're able to signal for help, a dust mask to help filter contaminated air and plastic sheeting, and duct tape to help shelter in place. You'll want to have moist towelettes, garbage bags, and plastic ties for your personal sanitation. Small hand tools such as wrenches or pliers to turn off utilities if necessary. Don't forget a manual can opener if your non-perishable foods come in cans. Local maps are good to have, and cash. Cash is always a good idea in case ATMs are unavailable or something prevents the use of credit or debit cards. If you or someone in your household has special needs, it's important to incorporate them into your disaster plans as well. Special needs family members generally will have medications, special foods, medical equipment. Your infants, don't forget about the babies at home, the formula, their diapers, their bottles, and our furry friends. Don't forget the pet food, the leashes, and medications if applicable. Remember to include any caretakers in your planning process for your special needs emergency supply kit. If you're on the road when an emergency strikes or you have to evacuate, you'll want to have these supplies on hand: a flashlight with extra batteries, a first aid kit, and a manual to go along with it, a white distress flag, a tire repair kit with booster, jumper cables, pump, and flares. Bottled water and non-perishable food items is also a good idea to have in your vehicle emergency supply kit. Seasonal supplies to combat weather conditions like blankets, gloves, those are also good items to keep in your vehicle emergency supply kit. ACT is the third and final component of the Know What to Do campaign. In the Think section, we identified many of the potential hazards that we face, and we learned how to ready ourselves in the Prepare section. Now, the ACT section will provide you with practical information that can get you plugged into a volunteer network, give you helpful information on sheltering in place versus evacuating, and help you deal with disaster recovery. In the event disaster strikes, you'll need to respond and act very quickly. So you'll want to make sure you know the systems available and what actions to take. The City of Dallas Outdoor Warning System is designed for you to hear when you are outdoors. If you are outdoors and you hear the outdoor warning system, you'll want to go indoors, turn on your TV or radio, and take the recommended actions. The City of Dallas also utilizes a reverse emergency telephone notification system. We are able to put out emergency information through landline telephone that will allow you to get information relevant to that specific emergency event. I will give you the website at the end of this presentation that will allow you to sign up anything other than your landline telephone. Highway messaging. You'll notice out on the highways today, there are large highway messaging signs where they reference Amber Alerts and other emergencies. A NOAA weather radio. As discussed earlier in the presentation, please make sure that you purchase what I call an indoor weather alert system called a NOAA weather radio. You can also utilize weather alert apps on your smartphones. If you take the prepare actions discussed, making a personal plan, a disaster kit, a car kit, you will be sure to take great care of your family in the event of severe weather. Use your knowledge. Make choices based on the information you have gained. If it's hot, drink plenty of water and wash your hands frequently to avoid illness. Sheltering in place versus evacuation. Depending on your circumstances and the nature of a disaster, the first important decision is whether to shelter in place or to evacuate. You'll want to understand and plan for both of these possibilities in advance by developing clear and thought out plans. Stay away or get away? That is the question. If local officials are able to provide information, you'll want to follow those directions. Gather as much information as possible and use your common sense in making the decision. If you are instructed to shelter in place, bring your family and pets inside. Lock your doors, close your windows, your air vents, and fireplace dampers. You'll want to turn off fans and air conditioning. Move to an interior room with supply kit. Make sure that your kit contains the necessary medications, water, and other items previously discussed. Seal your windows, your doors, and your air vents. Turn on your televisions, listen to the radio, and also check the internet or your smartphones for official news and instructions. If there's an evacuation in place, plan how you'll assemble your family, where you will meet, how you will communicate, especially for children. Plan places to meet within and outside of your immediate neighborhood. Keep a half a tank of gas in your car at all times. Familiarize yourself with alternate routes in your area. Don't forget to take your supply kit along with your medications and other important information. And our furry friends, make sure that you take your pets with you, if at all possible. Depending on your circumstances and nature of the disaster, the first important decision is whether to shelter in place or evacuate. Understand and plan for both possibilities in advance by developing clear and well thought out plans. Disaster recovery. Recovery from a disaster is usually a gradual process. The victims of 9/11 attacks, the Fort Worth Arlington tornado, and Hurricanes Katrina and Rita can tell you that it takes time to get your home, your community, and life back to normal. Immediately after an emergency, safety is the primary issue. Mental and physical well-being will continue to be a concern for some in the time after an emergency event. It's important to know how to access local and national help to make the recovery process faster and less stressful. Your health and safety is first. Check for injuries on yourself and your family members. Don't try to move anyone who is seriously injured unless they are in immediate danger of death or further injury. If you must move an unconscious person, first stabilize their neck and back, then call for help immediately. If you're returning to your home after a tornado or similar disaster, walk carefully around the outside and look for those loose power lines, check for gas leaks and structural damage. If you have any doubts about safety, do not enter the structure until it is inspected by a qualified engineer or inspector. Also, do not enter if you smell gas, if there's floodwaters that still remain around the structure, or if your home was damaged by fire and the authorities have declared it not to be safe. When going through debris, use a stick or another object instead of your hands. Use a battery-powered flashlight and turn it on while you're still outside the residence. If you see broken or frayed wires, turn off the electricity at the main fuse box or breaker if possible. If the appliances are wet, turn off the electricity at the main fuse box, then unplug appliances and let them dry out. If pipes are damaged, turn off the main water valve. Check with local authorities before using any water if water contamination is suspected. When opening cabinets, be alert of falling objects. Clean up household chemical spills. Disinfect all salvageable items that may have been contaminated by raw sewage, bacteria, or chemicals. Stay off the streets. If you must go out, watch for fallen objects, downed electrical wires, and weakened walls, bridges, roads, and sidewalks. Volunteer service. There are many volunteer opportunities in the city of Dallas. You don't have to know CPR to be able to lift a sandbag or have a lot of free time to be a valuable volunteer. If you're interested in getting involved, there are many ways that you can volunteer here in the city of Dallas and in the North Central Texas region. Some of the ways are the Citizens Fire Academy. You may contact the Dallas Fire Rescue Department if you're interested. The Citizens Police Academy. You can contact the Dallas Police Department if you're interested. And Dallas Community Emergency Response Teams. You may contact our office, the Office of Emergency Management, if you're interested. Here are several resources that we have talked about throughout this presentation. The city website at dallascityhall.com, Citizen Corps at citizencorps.com that will give you information on volunteering, our partner agency, American Red Cross, the Centers for Disease Control on pandemic information, floodsmart.gov for flood insurance information, FEMA.org for preparedness information, and ready.gov for additional preparedness information. For more information about preparedness, please contact our office 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 214-670-4275. Or you may send us an email at oem@dallascityhall.com or visit our website at dallasemergencymanagement.org. Thank you.